So this was put in 3 years ago now as part of the Agri-Environment and Climate Scheme. The idea was to try and create wader scrapes, in particular for curlew, lapwing and snipe, partly because we've lost all curlew and lapwing over recent years, like it's happening all over the uplands in the UK.
But the whole premise about them is they are relatively shallow, and it's this sort of margin along the sides where that wets up and sort of dries out, and that's where it contains the sort of insect food that invertebrates could actually go for.
Yeah, and that's the sort of habitat that things like snipe require, you know. And what we've got around it is a wetland area, and this is very lightly grazed during the late summer. The reason for that is partly the grazing is to break it up a little bit to create open areas where the birds can feed. But the reason why it's only for a very short period is that a lot of this area is covered in meadow sweet that can't tolerate very high levels of grazing. So if we grazed it for the full summer, we would lose that important habitat.
Wetland areas on a farm, liver fluke, was that a major concern for us when we put these wetlands in, or established these wetlands?
Well, it was, and so we've got some wader scrapes here and at another part of the farm as well, and there was definitely some concern that you're creating these wet areas, these open water areas, ideal for the mud snail. And so we've been working with the Morden Institute, who've been doing a study trying to see whether they're finding the fluke within these wader scrapes.
Yeah. And so far?
So far, from what we understand, is that they're not finding any increases in the fluke that's associated with livestock.
Any major problem from the farm's perspective in terms of creating these in this sort of habitat or in this sort of part of the farm?
No. I mean, it was low productive area. It wasn't being used very much anyway, and so it wasn't really taking out any productive land.
No major interference with the actual productive side of the farm, something that any farmer could actually probably find a relevant corner of the farm that was wet enough to actually hold back these waters. So, and again, another measure that's available under the Scottish Government's Agri-Environment and Climate Scheme.